Welcome in. It is day 2 for Political Palooza for Conservatives. It's Kelly Golden. I host a talk show live weekdays on 94.3 WSC. You can catch the post-show podcast of the Kelly Golden Show wherever you get podcasts. I am putting some live links below of the entire day 2 streams so that you can check out day 1 if you want. There's a stream below as well of some of the stuff you've missed. I will cover it coming up on Monday, Monday edition of the Kelly Golden Show, and throughout the week, frankly. There's so much content packed in these 3 days. So we are on day 2, and I want to get right to it here. I threw some highlights below in the description of folks that we're going to hit here quickly, and I just got to say, there's an action-packed day to come here today with the former U.S. Secretary Mike Pompeo is going to be speaking this afternoon. I think Wayne LaPierre from the NRA will be talking 2A. Governor Kristi Noem, she's fantastic. She gets it. She's going to be speaking this afternoon at 3:50, and I will drop again below in the comments some of those specific scheduled events that I know are going to happen so that you can hit the live links at that time. Otherwise, you can check them out and tune in via the iHeartRadio app live to 94.3 WSC, coming up bright and early, 6 a.m. Monday morning. Let's get right to it. So I want to jump in quickly because I got to tell you, Dan Bongino, who's heard on 94.3 WSC and Fox and other places on Sean Hannity, he is on fire right now, y'all. He is talking about the new misfits, us being the new hippies, the new renegades. And let me add them up here real quick, and let's get this going. Take a listen.
I get like choked up even thinking about it. It's just us. You're the real renegades now. Everyone in this room. You're the misfits. You're the new hippies. You're the renegades. You are. Damn right. And ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to go down, then we're going to go down fighting. You want to cancel us off Twitter? We'll start Parler. You want to cancel Parler? I'll start Parler too.
Yes.
You want to cancel Parler too? I'll start another platform after that. You want to dump a server farm? I'll buy a server farm. You want to shut down a cloud support? I'll start a cloud company too. You want to do DDoS stuff? What do you want? Anybody? I'll do it all.
A bank.
Payment processors?
Yes.
Shit, I'll start a bank with you if you want. I will start whatever you want.
Come on, Dan. Bring it.
If we have to split this country's economy in half because we will speak and we will not be silent, then damn it, we will do it in this room with the real misfits and renegades sitting in this room right now.
Did you know you were a misfit and a renegade?
Because you will get nothing. You will get nothing from these conformist lemmings on the left and these media buffoons who are the useful idiots of our time.
Amen.
You will get nothing from them. Expect nothing, and you will never, ever be disappointed. Ever. I saw someone told me Acosta was running around here. You expect him to tell you, I don't even know this guy, don't even care. You expect them at CNN to tell you the truth? This is hilarious. They want Fox deplatformed for, get a load of this one. This is joke time, okay? They want for disinformation.
What?
Fox. They want Fox deplatformed. That's the pee-pee tape network. They promoted the pee-pee hoax, the collusion. They want Fox deplatformed. Are you kidding? Like what planet? This reminds me, right? You ever watch Seinfeld? I use this analogy all the time. Remember the Seinfeld episode where George, he does everything backwards and it works out for him? That's the world we live in right now. Everything's backwards. CNN is calling out right-wing media for disinformation. These were the guys. The building was burning in a riot. And they're like, all good here, folks. Nothing to see. It is a peaceful Hey, dude, get the fire extinguisher. Your jacket is up. I'm just getting a peaceful protest, folks. This is the same network. You had Rachel Maddow on TV for 3 years talking about how Donald Trump was colluding with Russia, only did we find out later that her buddies at the Lincoln Project had the ties to Russia. Or the Lenin Project, we should call it maybe, right? The Vladimir Lenin Project. You didn't hear any about that. But they want us deplatformed for disinformation and misinformation. Don't forget what I'm telling you. You are the real renegades. You're the misfits, man. You're the new hippies of our time. You're the counterculture revolution right here because you actually want to talk. And you know what? You want other people to talk too. You know why? There's nothing I love more than going on Hannity with Geraldo. I love it. It's the greatest day of my life. Everything. I look forward. I go, God, thank you. I love, please bring on her. He's a nice guy. It's not personal. I mean, but he doesn't know anything. So I love it. Why do you not want liberals to talk? Just let them talk. They humiliate themselves every time. When I got involved with Parler, I'm like, issue liberals money to come on Parler. We had a bounty. Please come on. We love when you say your stupidity on our platform so we can expose it. But they don't feel the same way. You know why? They're scared. They're scared because we are right. I only got 25 seconds. I told her I messed with the lady backstage. I'm like, half hour minimum. Just kidding. I will wrap it up. Close to on time. Nice lady backstage. She said she'd tackle me if I went after 50. I'm just going to end with it because it's important. Leave here tonight with your chest out, proud. You are the renegades. You are the misfits. You are the real fighters. You're the one that matters. And don't make no mistake as you leave. You are on the right side of everything. Free speech, the freedom to protect your family, the freedom to assemble, to make your own money, to save your own life through your health care, and to get your kids in a good school. That is you. You are on the right side of this. Be proud. Say your prayers. Thank the Lord Almighty. You are on the right side of history. Amen. Thank you all. Fight.
Oh, he's fantastic. All right. So more, by the way, that entire speech, let me pull it down here, is in below where I put comments. Y'all just check it out there in the comments. There is a live link. And I'm going to bring up here next quickly because we've got Texas Senator Ted Cruz. He mocks mask and AOC in the King controversy. And we're going to finish this up with Matt Gaetz, who I got to tell you, I put one of his quotes in the comments below. Oh, holy cow. His quote was, Mr. Potato Head was America's first transgender doll, and even he got canceled. Y'all, these are just some highlights. Just some highlights of what's going on today at CPAC, which let me just remind everybody that CPAC is culminating tomorrow with Donald Trump speaking at 3:40. And you can count on live coverage, of course, here. So I want to keep it going here with Texas Senator Ted Cruz. I think one of the biggest highlights was his William Wallace scream from yesterday. He was absolutely on fire. I want to make sure that you don't miss that. And again, more highlights to come throughout the week this week coming up on the Kelly Golden Show on 94.3 WSC. Be sure you are following the Kelly Golden Show podcast. All right, here we go.
And I got to say, what an amazing array of speakers here at CPAC. For a second there, I thought we were in Des Moines. That one took people a minute. We are gathered in dark times. We're gathered at a time where the hard left, where the socialists control the levers of government, where they control the White House, where they control every executive branch, where they control both houses of Congress. Bernie is wearing mittens. And AOC is telling us she was murdered. And the media desperately, desperately, desperately wants to see a Republican civil war. Liberty is under assault, and what are we going to do? I'll tell you, we will fight. Listen to William Wallace.
Hear it?
And let me tell you,
They're screaming freedom in the background.
the media here looks at the men and women gathered here, at the young people gathered here, as dangerous radicals. This is the Rebel Alliance.
Star Wars reference.
And Vader and the Emperor, and let's be clear, they're not your father, are terrified of the rebels who are here, and I'm proud to tell you, Gina Carano is standing with us. So what do we do? What do we do at a time where the hard left is resurgent? Two very simple things. Number one, we defend liberty. Look, are there tensions in our party? Sure, because we believe in diversity. We believe in individuality. Different people have different views. We aren't the Borg enforcing. Okay, I may have committed a cardinal sin mixing Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yeah, I was about
next
to
thing
say.
you know, you're going to cross the streams, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's going to come in. Just too many terrible references there.
Yeah.
We don't believe in uniformity, but I'll tell you what can unite conservatives and libertarians and those who value the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is a love of liberty.
Freedom and liberty. Yes.
And the left, they tell you who they are, particularly in a global pandemic. As Rahm Emanuel said, you never want to waste a good crisis. And who boy, these guys don't want to waste it. You see statists in California putting 37 tons of sand in a skate park because ain't nobody having fun while the socialists are in charge. We see Bill de Blasio in New York sending people in to shut down parks and to throw young Orthodox Jewish kids out of the parks because, God forbid, children have fun. We see leftists across the country shutting down churches. California, they've helpfully explained, you can go out and protest. You can scream and yell, abolish the police. And this virus, magically, no one will get infected. You can French kiss the guy next to you, yelling, abolish the police. And no one will get infected. But if you go to church and say, amazing grace, everyone's going to die. By the way, how many of y'all have eaten at a restaurant in the last 6 months? Can I just stop and say how strange the rules are right now? I want to understand how this virus works. So when you walk in, you got to put your mask on. Sadly, I've got two. You walk in, you got to put your mask on. You sit down, you take your mask off. See, apparently the virus is actually connected to elevation. No, remember, this is all about science. It's actually, it may not be elevation. I think it's that there are hormones that are released in your thighs when you're sitting. So you can sit at the table and there's no virus being transmitted. But if you stand up, put the mask on.
That's a good one.
And listen, let's be clear. This is a dangerous virus. But these collectivist statists, okay, now they're saying everybody can get immunized. We can have herd immunity everywhere, and we're going to wear masks for the next 300 years. And by the way, not just one mask, 2, 3, 4. You can't have too many masks. How much virtue do you want to signal? This is just dumb. You know, the U.S. Capitol has giant fences with razor wires and 5,000 National Guards standing out front because the Democrats are convinced that political theater helps them. Let's be clear, this is not about security at this point. This is about political theater. Half the country, the deplorables, are dangerous. And they're going to turn the Capitol into a military outpost in Baghdad just to have their compliant media echo that message. But do you know what terrifies every one of these statists? The truth. Liberty's powerful. Liberty's persuasive. Liberty is fun. You know, last week, we lost the great Rush Limbaugh. I was so blessed and so fortunate to call Rush a friend. And Rush understood the power of liberty.
Yes, he did.
You know, before there was Hannity, before there was Tucker, before there was Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder,
Kelly
before there
Golden,
was Donald Trump, there was Rush Limbaugh. And before there was Section 230, there was something called the Fairness Doctrine, which gave leftists in Washington the power to silence views they didn't like. We got rid of the Fairness Doctrine, and Rush Limbaugh started by going on one AM station, and then a second AM station, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then a fifth, and the voice of liberty spread like prairie fire. And let me tell you right now, in Los Angeles, there's some skater kid who's 19, who's told that it's hip and chic and cool to be a leftist socialist man, who's going to hear a message. Wait a second, these guys don't want me to speak, think, have fun, do what I want to do. The message of liberty is profoundly subversive. The left believes in rigid conformity. We believe in diversity, free speech. You can say whatever you want, no matter how dumb it is. And by the way, in Washington, D.C., we test that proposition.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially now.
Religious liberty, you can worship however you like on your knees before Almighty God. Or you can worship the almighty dollar. Or you can worship, I don't know, pink Martians. That's the beauty of freedom, the Second Amendment. Oh, the left hates the Second Amendment because they want their people docile and compliant. You know, when we saw riots all across the country, I remember there were reports that riots were going to come into suburban, mostly peaceful, fiery, but mostly peaceful. There were reports riots were going to come into the suburbs. I got to tell you, in Houston, where I live, there weren't any rioters. Because let's be very clear, if there had been, they would discover what the state of Texas thinks about the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
And the same for South Carolina, my home base.
So defend liberty. But number two, have fun. Have fun. You know, so many on the right, they act like they got a stick inserted somewhere it doesn't belong. Like, just lighten up.
Yes.
Especially now, the left, they are shrill. They are angry. How many leftists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Oh, boy.
That's not funny. Like, God bless. Who would want to be around these people?
I like bearded
You know,
Ted.
Jerry Seinfeld doesn't tell comedy anymore because any joke that's funny is canceled.
Oh,
You know, SNL is unwatchable. The late night comedy, they stand up and say, we hate Donald Trump. Yeah, no kidding. We didn't get that the last 9,000 times you told that. You know, in 2020, the New York Times reported that 60% of women named Karen voted for Joe Biden.
uh-oh.
That's actually real.
Karen.
You can look it up, the fact checkers. That's what the New York Times reported. And I'm willing to bet 80% of the men named Karen voted for Joe Biden.
Oh, dear.
Just have fun. You know, yesterday, John Boehner made some news. He suggested that I do something that was anatomically impossible.
Who?
To which my response was, who's John Boehner?
That's a good one.
And you know what? There are a whole lot of voices in Washington that want to just erase the last 4 years. Want to go back to the world before, where we had government of the lobbyists, by the lobbyists, and for the lobbyists. Where the Republicans' compelling message was, Republicans, we waste less.
Not good, no.
And they look at Donald J. Trump, and they look at the millions and millions of people inspired who went to battle fighting alongside President Trump, and they're terrified. And they want him to go away. Let me tell you this right now, Donald J. Trump ain't going anywhere.
That frightens them to their core. Oh.
And the Republican Party
Come on,
is
Ted.
not the party just of the country clubs. The Republican Party is the party of steel workers.
Yes.
And construction workers.
Bring it.
And pipeline workers.
Preach.
And taxi cab drivers and cops
Yes.
and firefighters
Teachers.
and waiters and waitresses and the men and women with calluses on their hands who are working for this country. That is our party, and these deplorables are here to stay.
Yeah, you go, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. On a roll. People are on their feet.
Every one of you has a platform. Every one of you has a voice. The corporate media wants to silence these voices. You have a platform. You know, last year I launched a podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Over 25 million downloads in a year. By the way, please go subscribe. Verdict with Ted Cruz, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Click on subscribe. 5 stars, please.
Wow. Same for the Kelly Golden Show podcast, please.
But you know what?
Wow.
You have the same platform. You have social media. You have your friends, your neighbors, your family, your classmates. Speak out for freedom. Because I'm going to close with these words of encouragement. These are dark days, and the media tells us this is the new galactic empire forever and 1,000 years. But already Joe Biden and the radicals in his administration, they are already overshooting. They are already going too far. Their policies don't work. They are disasters. They are bad. They are destroying jobs. They are stripping our freedom. And there is a natural pendulum to politics. And the country will come back to sanity. And mark my words, 2022 is going to be a fantastic election year. And so is 2024 as we stand together and defend liberty, defend the Constitution, defend the Bill of Rights of every American. In the immortal words of William Wallace,
here it comes.
Freedom!
I warned you. I told you he was going to have the William Wallace scream. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up here because CPAC continues through tomorrow, wrapping it up again with Donald Trump. That's right. Our 45th president of the United States is coming up tomorrow live at 3:40 p.m. from PAC. I want to end this because, I mean, as if Texas Senator Ted Cruz is mocking of AOC and mask and the Cancun controversy wasn't good enough. There's so much of this. It really is. We'll end it with Matt Gaetz putting Liz Cheney and all the GOP rhinos on notice. That's right. Texas Senator Ted Cruz did it a little bit there, saying, you know, the party, Republican Party is a party of people who get their hands dirty, who work hard every day, who aren't rich. Who aren't, you know, the elitist. And it's just always incredible to me because people act as if because they have a degree that they have common sense or that makes them smart. It really doesn't. We're learning that in some of the saddest ways. All right, rolling on. Again, highlights coming up today are the former U.S. Secretary Mike Pompeo is going to be speaking. I really think Kristi Noem, she's going to be fantastic, coming up at 3:50 this afternoon. Again, I put the live link in the description. So y'all drop your comments. I got them up here. I'm watching. I appreciate you watching with me. I am, let's see here. Let's pull up our pal, Matt Gaetz. I tell you, this guy's been on fire for quite some time, hadn't he? And I believe he is newly engaged or newly married. So, you know, for all the lefty haters out there, maybe like Texas Senator Ted Cruz said, you should smile a little and have some fun. All right. Speaking of, let's get to it.
Hey!
Florida Representative Matt Gaetz.
I haven't gotten that good a warm welcome since I was in Wyoming. My fellow patriots, don't be shy and don't be sorry. Join me as we proudly represent the pro-Trump America First wing of the conservative movement.
Oh, he led with it.
We're not really a wing, we're the whole body. We're the main attraction in the greatest show on earth. It's our ideas that fill the stadiums with cheering fans, and while the establishment owns the think tanks, we're the ones doing all the thinking in the populist movement as conservatives. Turns out populism is popular, and everyone can see who the fakes and the phonies are and where we can find the real deal. A year ago at CPAC, I was the first Republican in Congress to swear off donations from federal lobbyists and political action committees. Their money is no good with me. Now, I can't say I started a movement. Not a single other Republican joined me. But it turns out I was ahead of the curve because the woke corporations turned around and canceled us. Many Fortune 100 companies will not donate to pro-Trump Republicans. Some have even pulled their sponsorships of this conference. American business should be worried about business, not wokeism. We gather here today in the shadow of Disney, a corporation that recently canceled its own founder, Walt Disney. Look out, Mr. Potato Head, you're next. I'm sorry, I think now he's going by Potato X. Can't be Mr. Potato. And see, to me, the whole concept of the Mr. Potato Head was you could move the parts around. I mean, Mr. Potato Head was America's first transgender doll, and even he got canceled. So while I stand alone in the House Republican Conference in my rejection of PACs and lobbyists, I am never alone when I stand with you, the great people of the greatest country that has ever existed. Now, unlike the left and even some Republicans, the America First movement will never sell out to foreign interests abroad or special interests here at home. Our citizens come first. Sorry, not sorry. Now, I'm a canceled man in some corners of the internet. I'm a banned man in the state of New Jersey. The governor literally said I was unwelcome. Many days I'm a marked man in Congress, a wanted man by the deep state, but every day I'm a Florida man, and it is good to be home. Florida's like an amazing woman, adventurous, beautiful, mostly sunny, sometimes a little crazy, and always here to encourage and support success. By contrast, New York is like a bad ex-husband. Mean, won't let you go out to dinner. You're less safe, financially spiraling downward, and they may kill your grandparents.
Oh, there it is.
Now, the fake news media and their allies in Silicon Valley made Governor Cuomo out to be some iconic cross between King David and Tom Brady. What a big lie that turned out to be.
Right? Where's the prosecution?
According to former aides, Governor Cuomo was offering to replace staff meetings with strip poker. Meanwhile, they were stripping Granny out of the COVID ward at the hospital and tossing her in the nursing home, just enough time to infect everybody and then go back to the hospital so that deaths could be recategorized for politics.
Horrific.
How about freedom for young and healthy people, learning for students, opportunity for entrepreneurs?
Thank you.
How
Stop
about we
abusing
ditch the
our
lockdown
children.
governors like
Thank you.
Cuomo and Newsom and Murphy and never ditch the American way of life and the American spirit?
Thank you.
Now, speaking of all this bias, it was awful the way the media treated Ted Cruz. I mean, the left and the media were more worried about Ted Cruz going to Mexico to spend his own money than they are about the caravans coming through Mexico to take ours.
It's got a point.
The greatest threat to our liberty is big government, and the second greatest threat to our liberty is big business. And there is no bigger business than big tech. The flow of digital information impacts every aspect of our lives. If we win the debate but lose the internet, ours will be the last generation of American greatness. They'll open the borders, lock down our businesses, and squelch even the faintest whispers of dissent. And here's what I don't get. Leaders in both parties have no problem flooding the deserts of the Middle East with American cash and American blood over the mirages of democracies potentially emerging far, far away. But they won't lift a finger here in our country to do what is necessary to preserve our republic, and that is to ensure access to the digital world for everyone, regardless of their politics. Elon Musk calls Silicon Valley Sanctimonious Valley for a reason. And the terms of service on Twitter can never be more important than the values that undergird our Constitution. We need more than a legalistic definition of the First Amendment. We need a culture of free speech in America. Now, when big tech and big government team up, America starts to look more like China. And the Chimerica dream is shamefully a nightmare for our people. All technology means is doing more with less. When big government fuses with big tech, government only becomes more efficient at acquiring and centralizing power. Tyranny with greater ease and lower cost. Bill Clinton famously joked that China's attempt to control the internet would be like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. It turns out the Middle Kingdom has done even more nailing than the 42nd president. They even send their spies to nail some of our politicians. Conservatives rightly rail against the evils of socialism, yet the China model perhaps embodies something more dangerous, and we're heading in that direction. A captive capitalism, a corrupt linkage between business and government that enriches the elites and reduces the rest of us to interchangeable parts, just producers and consumers. And we should never let the virtue of disagreement and debate go away for the ease of clicks and memes. We were promised that technology would disrupt and democratize power. But what happens when all of the technology companies ultimately get the power and the government all at once? There are no checks and balances when they can control, alt, delete anyone for any reason. Now, in China, this means that the government assigns people a social credit score, where you live, where your children go to school, professional opportunities, access to government programs. It all depends on what government and tech think of you. Just look at what's happening in the Biden administration today, a revolving door with Twitter, Facebook, Google, Amazon executives rolling into the government to create a unified system. And maybe we would feel better if government was getting big tech's brightest. Sadly, we're not. Listen to how things have changed. Prior to social media in Silicon Valley, the most significant investor and customer was the Department of Defense. Our best minds worked on bombs and radar and stealth, often in partnership with DARPA. Jeff Bezos' grandfather was actually the number 4 person at DARPA. But as commerce moved online, the incentives for focused digital talent moved too. Today, America's sharpest minds are focused on memes, not munitions, likes, not lasers, ratios, not robotics, and hyperviral, not hypersonic. So are these social networks really making us stronger, safer? Or do they just further addict us to our vices? Instagram for vanity, Twitter for wrath, Uber Eats for gluttony, and Tinder for lust.
Whoa!
We need a renewed patriotic nationalism in America. In technology, that means let's get our best team together and go whip China. And in politics, it means let's get our best team together and go whip the establishment.
Yes. And the Republican Party.
Speaking of people
back
who
into
want to
shape.
lose primaries.
Here we go.
If
Rhinos.
Liz Cheney were on this stage today, she'd get booed off of it.
Yes! I was
What does
waiting
that
for it.
say? The leadership of our party is not found in Washington, D.C. You are the energy. We are America. That's why they're in the 8 square miles of Washington, D.C., and we're here in the Sunshine State of Florida.
Yeah, they're behind cages and razor wire.
Now, Trump may not have drained the swamp all the way yet. So if you want to finish the job, maybe hire a Florida man. We've drained swamps before. We faced down the alligators and the pythons and the lizards and mosquito as big as grapefruit. America needs real fighters today, maybe now more than ever, and we must win, for we have a country to save. And so come fight with me. Go to mattgaetz.com, join our America First movement, and let's go get them.
Oh, how about that for an inspiring speech? How about that? Let's go get them. So listen, folks, this continues again through Sunday. I put the live links below. I am going to jump on and give you as many highlights as I possibly can, and more to come. Coming up again live 6 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on 94.3 WSC. You can stream at 94.3WSC.com. One thing I wanted to end with here, the Kelly Golden Show also has a post-show podcast. And I got to tell you, I'm jealous of Texas Senator Ted Cruz's podcast numbers. I've got 105,000 clicks and going, but y'all, I that needs to be like 1 million. I'm telling you, if the big tech brown shirts are out there, and it's frightening what they're doing. Let me just end with this. Rogan O'Handley. Does anybody know who Rogan O'Handley is? So here's a guy who became an attorney, and I think he was like a Hollywood attorney, and he couldn't take it anymore. All of the bashing of conservatives, and he kind of became a civil rights activist and a citizen journalist. DC Drano. You can check out DC_Drano wherever I think Twitter, actually, because of what I'm about to tell you, has just suspended his account. You can find him on Instagram, DC_Drano. And here he is trying to be at CPAC in Orlando. And let's see if I can play this here so y'all can see what happened to him. So he's trying to set up
I'm currently being detained for taking off my mask at CPAC and taking selfies with followers. I've been here about 20 minutes, and hotel security is now issuing me a trespass warning, threatening me with arrest if I come back for taking selfies
What?
with followers. Free country.
So I just want to update you because that's happening like as we speak. And here he is again. Let's see here. This is only going to mean good things for him, I'm sure. He's got like 1.5 million followers, and I think since he's posted this, it's gone up to 1.8 million followers. But let's not. And I agree with him. His latest post is right on. He says, I have an idea for you, CPAC. After I was forced out of the conference for lowering my mask to take pictures, it sent a message to even Floridians that we aren't safe from these Biden mask mandates. And I got to tell you, I read the mask mandates. I should be at CPAC right now in Orlando. Even though I'm a one-woman band, it would have been almost impossible for me to get there. And I started reading all their mask mandates, and I thought, I'm going to invite trouble for myself. And I probably would have wound up like DC Drano here and Rogan O'Hanley. So what does he say? You want to send a message, CPAC? He says, invite me back to speak on stage with no mask to show the patriot movement stands. Gladly, he said, will rip up my trespass order in front of the crowd and risk getting arrested, as Senator Ted Cruz said at CPAC. Freedom! He's got the William Wallace scream. So to be continued on what's going on there. But listen, let's stick together. We got more to come. You got Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I already mentioned Governor Noem. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, one of the comments here was, they're doing a lot of talking about what are they doing about it. Well, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is running for governor in Arkansas. She's doing something about it. Also coming up, and I'll bring you the highlights, is Vernon Jones. Vernon Jones, I was there during the March to Save America rally, January 6th. In the VIP section there with Vernon Jones when he got up on stage and he said that he was leaving the Democrat Party and joining the Republican Party. And it was such an awesome experience to have him come off stage and for me to say, welcome home, Vernon, welcome home. He has talked about running, of course, as well, I think for lieutenant governor maybe, or even governor in, don't hold me to that, in Georgia. So people are doing things. Many people, it's more than just talk. There is action, but that takes every single one of us. Every single one of us has a platform, and every single one of us needs to like, follow, share, and stick together. All right, y'all have a great day. I'll be back, of course, coming up tomorrow, wrapping things up with Jim Jordan and Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. I cannot wait to find out what he has to say. We'll have live continuing coverage. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I know how precious every moment is, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thanks for the support. Y'all have a great day.